Ard Meteor is a 10-year-old boy born to an ordinary couple, living a seemingly normal life. But in his past life, he was Varvatos, the legendary hero who defeated the evil gods and united the world. His immense power earned him the title of Demon Lord, and over time, people stopped seeing him as human. Exhausted by the loneliness and the weight of his reputation, Varvatos longed to prove his humanity once again. His plan was simple: find someone strong enough to defeat him in battle, proving he was still mortal. But no one could match his strength. As a last resort, Varvatos used reincarnation magic to start over, hoping for a fresh beginning. Reborn as Ard Meteor, he found himself in an era where magic was fading, but he was gifted with extraordinary physical abilities and powerful magic. He had big dreams of making a friend who could understand him, something he never had in his previous life. Ard tried to make friends by staring at a group of boys, hoping to connect with them. Unfortunately, they found his intense gaze a little creepy. His past as the Demon Lord meant he was lacking in social skills. He looked for new ways to make friends a less creepy way, but he failed again. Little Ard was deeply angry. Even after all his efforts to make friends, he was unable to find anyone who would like him. So, he took his rage towards a forest and destroyed it. When he took a rest at the doorstep, he was visited by Alhide, the mayor. Alhide told Ard that the most effective way to make friends is to simply be polite and respectful. So Ard was very energetic and determined to try once more. He followed the advice he received from Alhide, and once again he fails to make any friends. Frustrated Ard let out his anger on the monsters in the forest. Suddenly, a voice of a young girl crying out for help. Ard knew he had to act fast and went flying towards the voice. What Ard saw was an elf girl fighting an ancient wolf. From his perspective, the wolf was a low-level beast, so he thought she was unleashing her anger upon the beast. The girl turned the wolf into ash with just a spell. Ard, who had been watching her, thought to start a conversation with her. He believed that he could make her smile by praising her for how she dealt with the beast, but ends up critiquing her at the same time. Since nothing seemed to work, he finally asked if she wanted to be his friend, but the girl sadly shook her head and ran away. Ard was confused, but turns out that she had been betrayed and bullied in the past. Back at Ard's house, Mayor says goodbye to Ard's parents, and the girl who turns out to be the daughter of the mayor, Arena. Little did she know they'd soon meet again, leading to a series of events where Ard would try cringe and weird ways to befriend Arena, but failing each time. Out of nowhere, a swarm of goblins attacked the town. In the midst of the chaos, the mayor reveals that Arena had headed into the mountains earlier that day. Ard feels guilty for not treating her better and thinks it might have made her run away. He spots Arena in a tough spot, surrounded by a gang of goblins and a hobgoblin. Arena is holding her own, but the hobgoblin mocks her, asking if she's just waiting for a hero to save her. Just when she's about to lose hope, Ard rushes in and takes out the goblins with some spells. He finishes off the last two goblins and the hobgoblin, then tries to help Arena, but she pushes him away, questioning why he saved her when she was ready to give up. Ard told Arena he was her friend, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he would let her down like everyone else had. She believed he could never grasp what it was like to feel truly alone. Ard insisted he wouldn't betray a friend again, having learned from his past life. Eventually, Arena decided to accept his friendship. Fast forward a few years, and both Arena and Ard are at the Academy of Magic. There they meet Headmaster Gold, who asks Ard to take the written part of the entrance exam, even though he's exempt from the practical section due to his childhood achievements. Later, Ard discovers he scored a big fat 0 on the exam. Gold explains that all his answers were wrong because he relied on ancient knowledge from 3,000 years ago. Despite that, the headmaster praises him for how his answers could enhance modern magic techniques. Gold then reveals to the other students that Ard is the son of the legendary mage Jack and warrior Carla, who once defeated an evil god. Ard walked into the classroom and was surprised to see all the students eager to befriend him, mainly because of his well-known parents. Suddenly, a loud shout from the back grabbed his attention. He noticed a young succubus pressed against the wall, being picked on by another student. Arena stepped in and told the bully to back off. The bully puffed out his chest, introducing himself as Elrato from a prestigious family, claiming that the girl's family served his, so making him her master. He boasted that he could do whatever he wanted to her without anyone being able to complain. Ard demanded that Elrato apologize, but that only made the bully angrier. He saw Ard as just another kid riding on his parents' coattails, and challenged him to a duel. Arena was taken aback and quickly warned Ard against it, explaining that Elrato was a prodigy, the youngest to reach C rank in magic. Ard's heart nearly stopped when their teacher Olivia stepped in. She was one of the Demon Lord's top generals and his foster sister, and unexpectedly she was still alive. Ard was pretty sure Olivia was furious with him for abandoning his responsibilities to reincarnate himself. He tried to play it as casually as possible, but almost slipped up when he talked to her in a familiar way. Thankfully, Olivia dismissed it off and said she'd oversee their duel. Outside, Ard felt a bit lost on how to take on El Rato without Olivia figuring out who he really was. Meanwhile, El Rato was full of himself, thinking he was a noble genius up against just a commoner. He started throwing shade at Ard, calling him a snowflake. Out of nowhere, El Rato unleashed a massive fire spell, but Ard threw up a shield to block it. El Rato got even more annoyed when Ard pointed out that any regular kid could pull off that move. So, El Rato increases the intensity of his spell and calls it a mega flare, but it's blocked again. Ard then teased El Rato, saying he'd given silly names to his low-level spells to make them sound cooler. But El Rato wasn't finished. He released his ultimate move, the Giga Flare, firing off 9 powerful spells in rapid succession. Ard stayed calm during the intense battle and unleashed the true powerful Giga Flare. The fireball was so intense that El Rato had no choice but to give up. However, Olivia noticed something unusual while Ard was casting the Giga Flare. He had also created a shield around El Rato. She asked him how he managed to cast 2 spells simultaneously. Ard felt like Olivia could see right through his lies, leaving him flustered. He tried to downplay it, claiming it was no big deal, just 2 spells. He argued that it would only be impressive if he could cast even more at once. The panic inside him grew with every word he said. Olivia made his common sense seems to be stuck in the past 3,000 years ago to be precise. And in this modern day no one knows how to cast 2 or more spells at the same time. Despite her push, Olivia decided to back off, promising she'd uncover the truth soon enough. The next day, Olivia began her official class and split the students into groups. Irina and Ard noticed that the succubus girl was sitting by herself, without any friends, so they decided to invite her to join their team. She happily accepted and introduced herself as Jenny. Olivia then led the class to the dungeon, where she had a task for them, to hunt and skin a black wolf, a B+ rank monster that was lurking on the 3rd floor. The group set off, and Ard's team was the first to run into a pack of black wolves. Jenny panicked and stumbled, but Ard and Irina quickly cast a flare spell to handle the wolves. However, their magic was way too powerful, and the wolves were soon reduced to ashes. Jenny felt awful, thinking she was just a burden to the team. She hung her head and apologized. Ard noticed how Jenny had lost her confidence after years of mistreatment from El Rato and his friends, who had been verbally, psychologically, and even physically abusive. Wanting to help her regain her confidence, Ard offered to teach her magic. Even though she was hesitant, Jenny accepted, and the lesson began. Unfortunately, her first attempt didn't go well, and she dropped to her knees, blaming herself for not being good enough. Ard wasn't one to back down easily. He taught Ginny and Irina the magical technique, and soon enough, Ginny was rocking it like a pro. Her newfound confidence was evident as she smiled for the first time. The girls were so thrilled that they hugged Ard, but then they accidentally fell through a trapdoor, landing in the dungeon boss level. There they faced a minotaur that was ready to take advantage of their surprise. Ard used the monster to explain the power of script magic and how to use it to its fullest potential. He held the monster back and asked Ginny to deliver the final blow. Ginny was stunned, hardly believing what she was seeing and hearing. This was the moment she had been waiting for her entire life, especially after living under the oppressive rule of El Rato. Hope that one day, someone as kind and powerful as the Demon Lord would come to save her. She had no idea that the same Demon Lord was giving her a shot to prove herself and change her life for good. No longer willing to run away, she mustered her courage and mastered both script magic and regular spells. Back on the surface, the group proudly showcased the horns of the Minotaur they had just taken down. Olivia approached Gold, asking him to represent the Academy in the upcoming battle event hosted by the Queen. Ard declined, insisting that magic should be used to help those in need. Before he could finish, Olivia cut in, reminding him that her younger brother had said the same thing before he was reincarnated without a word to her. Ard realized Olivia wanted him to accept her challenge and see if her suspicions were true. He decided to convince the principal to allow Ginny and Irina to join the event, so they could demonstrate what they had learned under his guidance. Finally, the day of the battle event arrived, and Ard was watching beside Olivia. She tested him by casually mentioning Varvatos' name, but Ard played it smooth, acting like he had never heard of the guy. At the same time, Irina was called up for her first match. When the match began, Irina found it tough to counter her opponent's spells. But with her script magic, she managed to pull through and win. Both she and Ginny crushed their opponents and made it to the finals. But the match stops before they can even make any move. Demons had appeared in the crowd and causing chaos in the arena. Jessica, one of the academy teachers, quickly informed them that the situation outside the Colosseum was even worse. She told Ard and Olivia that she would take care of the demons inside with Ginny and Irene, while they should handle the ones outside. Ginny and Irina put up a good fight against the demons, but they were no match for the massive crystal golem blocking their path. Out of nowhere, Alhide jumped into action, using his magic to take down the golem. Irina was in awe of her dad's power, but before they could celebrate, they were shocked to witness Jessica suddenly pale Alhide from behind. She revealed herself as Elzard, the frenzied king of dragons, and made it clear that she wanted to capture Irina. Jessica told Irina that if she came with her, everyone else would be safe. Ginny, determined not to abandon the people who had given her hope, started casting spells while urging Irina to escape. But Elzard quickly set up a barrier and knocked Ginny. Just as she was about to strike the final blow, Irina stepped up bravely, allowing herself to be taken by the dragon, who flew off into the sky. Alhide was healed by Ard and found out that Irina had been taken, but Ard promised everyone that he would do whatever it took to bring her back, no matter what stood in his way. Meanwhile, Irina had a mysterious dream where she was a child again, and Ard was there too. She revealed to him who she really was, but then he suddenly vanished, leaving her all alone. When she woke up, she found herself trapped in a strange magical tube. Elzard appears, revealing a dark truth on Har. She will be sacrificed to the Orphan of Chaos, an evil god who seeks to summon other evil gods and wreak havoc on the world. Irina is convinced that Ard will come and save her, but Elzard is convinced that if he were to learn her secret he would abandon her just like everyone else. Ard had no time to lose. He flew at an incredible speed, determined to save Irina. Just when a monster was about to swallow her, it exploded, shocking everyone around. Ard landed, ready to take down anyone who had hurt his friend. He cast 9 spells at the same time, vanquishing the monsters in an instant and freeing Irina. However, Elzard narrowly avoided the attack and hovered in the sky. Elzard reveals Irina's dark secret, that she belongs to the real royal family. She's been living under a false name and status, because she carries the blood of the evil gods, the same ones Ard had defeated in his previous life. But Ard didn't even flinch. He didn't care about her bloodline, he only cared about what kind of person Irina was, stating that she was far kinder and more courageous than anyone else. Elzard cast a lightning spell, but Ard was ready with his powerful spear. Not wanting to be outdone, Ard conjured a fire spell to make a dragon barbecue. Ard then threw his spear and Elzard's body exploded, but Elzard wasn't done yet. She transformed into her full dragon form and unleashed a purple laser spell. But Ard was prepared and blocked it with a magical barrier. He asked Irina to look away, but her curiosity was too strong and she couldn't resist watching. Ard unlocked his hidden power and revealed his true identity as Varvatos, the Demon Lord. Ard summoned a mysterious golden lady, who then encased him in a shimmering magical barrier. This woman was none other than Lydia, the ancestor of Irina. In a bold move, she transformed into a golden sword and fired a flurry of beams at Elzard. But the cunning Elzard managed to dodge them all, as the dragon roared and prepared to strike. Irina yelled at Ard, telling him he will never lose to such monster. Her words fueled Ard with a newfound determination, and he knew he wasn't alone anymore. He commanded to enter Phase 2, and Lydia equipped him with a brand new silver armor. He unleashed Ultimatum Zero, a magical combination of 15 different spells. Ard managed to take down the dragon in one powerful strike. Ard worried that Irina might act differently once he found out her secret. But to his surprise, Irina turned to him with a huge smile, and raised him up and promised herself to get stronger, so they could face whatever came next together.